The ones who late, now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I wanted to give you some updates on what's going on in the stock market today. Today was not a good day for the market. Today we had one of those down days. Today the market went down by another 900 points, and it's largely driven by a lot more bad news. Right now, the market sentiment is really bad. It's lower than it's been in a long time, and sentiment is basically people's moods, how people feel about the economic situation, about the economic future. A lot of people are depressed. All you gotta do is go through social media, and you see a lot of sad people, a lot of scared people. Sad, scared people don't make for a good stock market. Sad, scared people make for a very bad economy. So here's what I'm looking at here on CNBC. It says stocks sank on Wednesday as Wall Street kicked off the second quarter. Let me turn this damn thing off. I hate when they start playing stuff on your computer. Let's see. Stocks. Let me get back to it. On a sour note, amid concerns the coronavirus will keep the economy shut down longer than expected. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed 973.65 points, lower or 4.4%, down to 20,943. That's a pretty big drop. That's a pretty low number, especially given that we were talking about 29, almost 30,000 not too long ago. President Donald Trump said that the U.S. should prepare for a very painful 2 weeks. So a very painful 2 weeks. Just that comment alone, I think, shot down the market a lot because, Trump has been one of the optimistic holdouts in the coronavirus situation. He's been the guy that's been saying that everything's going to be okay, and now he's not saying that everything's going to be okay, and he's the president, which is causing people to really freak out. I personally was curious about that comment. I'm going to tell you the truth. I couldn't help but wonder if Trump was engaged in a little bit of stock market manipulation because when he said it's going to be a really terrible 2 weeks, that right there puts a time limit on it. That was said to me like, okay, so two bad weeks. Okay, so what are we talking about? A bad month, a bad year, or a bad 2 weeks? And so it doesn't mean that it's not real, but I did wonder about that comment. And I wouldn't put it past Donald Trump to be engaged in a form of potential stock market manipulation because he knows that whatever comes out of his mouth will move the stock market. Donald Trump has done that before. Back in the 80s. Donald Trump knew that if back in the 80s he wasn't president. Nobody ever thought he'd be president. Nobody thought our country would be crazy enough to pick him as president. But back in the 80s, back during the days where companies used to have a lot of corporate takeovers, they would just go buy up all your stock, and the next thing you know, they own your company. Trump used to play with people's heads. Trump used to go out and he used to buy a bunch of shares of a company's stock. And he knew that when people saw him buying up shares of the stock, everybody else was going to go buy those shares because they would think, okay, Donald Trump's buying, it must be a good buy, or Donald Trump's buying, maybe he's going to take over the company. And then he would let the price go up, and then he would sell it once the price went up. Another person who did this, I talked to my friend in the grocery store today, and I said, Donald Trump is an older, whiter version of 50 Cent. Like I said, if Donald Trump were young and he were black, he would be 50 Cent. Now, why did I make that comparison? It sounds crazy, but if you really think about it, 50 Cent admires Donald Trump. Well, why is that? Well, both of these guys are New Yorkers. They're very cocky, brash, and arrogant, a little bit on the narcissistic side, incredibly immature, and they made a lot of their money off entertainment. But they're also smart. They're smart in their own way. They're smart enough to have accomplished a lot of things that a lot of people would like to accomplish. Donald Trump are they both from Queens? There you go. See, I think I'm on to something here. I really do. I mean, I see similarities. A lot of people don't see it, but 50 Cent to me reminds me of a younger, blacker Donald Trump. And so when you think about that, right, these New Yorkers who are very smart, but also a little bit ain't quite right in their head, a little bit petty, both of them extremely petty, but smart and rich and powerful, but petty and a little bit mentally disturbed. You also know in New York, they're both very much aware of what it takes to get money. They care about money. Donald Trump was known as the rich guy. 50 Cent had an album called Get Rich or Die Trying. So they're both aware of the stock market as a source of wealth. So effectively, when I see Trump's behavior in the market, right, where Trump for 30 years has known that anything that comes out of his mouth can move the stock market. He didn't forget that just because he became president and somebody told him that you're not supposed to do that. You really think Donald Trump cares about, following anybody's rules? No, he doesn't, right? 50 Cent did something similar. If you go back, and I'm going to research this to make sure I know exactly what I'm talking about, but I recall reading a story where 50 Cent got the scrutiny of the Securities and Exchange Commission because he bought, allegedly, he bought this penny stock. And then he goes on Instagram and says, everybody should go buy this stock. And the stock price went up. And they claimed, if I'm not mistaken, that 50 Cent, now maybe I'm wrong, I got to double check this. I apologize, Fifth, if I got this wrong. But I could have sworn that he did what basically is called a pump and dump, where you pump it up, you pump up the price, get people to buy it, and then when they buy it, you sell it, right? And so, long story short, I didn't really get shaken by Donald Trump's remarks. I think that there are real fundamental issues in the economy, but Trump's remarks didn't necessarily change my outlook on the situation. Maybe he is, coming to terms with reality. Maybe there's some there's clearly some politics behind all of this. No matter what, and there's clearly death and misfortune as well, which everyone should consider. But from an economic standpoint, in terms of my holdings, my investment, you can't really get me to change a whole lot based on what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. So we can have a rough 2 weeks. Well, if prices go down because we're going to have a rough 2 weeks, then that would obviously signal a buying opportunity. But even then, if you're a long-term investor, then, the question is not what's the market going to be like a month from now. The question is, what's it going to be like 5 years from now? What's it going to be like 10 years from now? What's it going to be like in the year 2025? What's it going to be like in the year 2030? Right? Those are the sorts of questions that a long-term investor asks themselves. Okay. So with that said, one of the things the experts are all looking for, hit the thumbs up button, by the way. If you're watching, please take a second, hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, please share this. Also, don't forget tomorrow night, you guys know that we're building a movie industry in the black community. And we have to do this together, working together, supporting black filmmakers. So we're doing something that's totally free for the community. It's called Black Movie Night. So you can join us tomorrow night, April 2nd at 8 p.m. All you have to do is register. Just register at blackmovienight.net. It's totally free. Just pop in your email address so we can send you out the links and everything, and you can join us for Black Movie Night. Let's see here. So right now they said Johns Hopkins says that there's 900,000 coronavirus cases around the country. 200,000 cases in the U.S. I think the death toll in the U.S. is about 2,800, maybe 3,000. Now, one thing that this portfolio advisor, John Davey, says that I agree with, he's the chief investment officer at Astoria Portfolio Advisors, is he says that the baby is being thrown out with the bathwater. And what he means by that is that a lot of really good companies are being hammered along with the bad companies. We have a lot of almost like a financial version of racial profiling where we're sort of looking at all the companies and assuming all the companies are doing bad. Well, what he's saying, and I agree with, is that this is not the time to believe that all hell is going, or everything's going to hell in a handbasket. This is the time for strategic picking. Basically, he said some companies are going to withstand the downturn better than others. Some companies are actually going to benefit from the downturn because remember, the economy is not dead. We're just becoming digital versions of what we used to be. Everything that we used to do in the physical world, we're now trying to do that on a computer. That's why Zoom is out of control. Zoom stock, if you go look up Zoom stock has gone up dramatically since this stuff happened. Let me look up Zoom real quick. I don't know how many of y'all own Zoom, but if you do, God bless you because you made a lot of money this month. Let me see Zoom. Hit the thumbs up button while I look this up. Please hit the thumbs up button. And make sure you subscribe, theblackfinancialchannel.com. Zoom dropped today, but over the last month, Zoom has gone up 24%. Over the last 3 months, Zoom has gone up nearly 100%, 98%. So Zoom has shot through the roof. Now, let me see here. It looks like in January you could have bought Zoom maybe for about $70. Now Zoom's trading at 136, and I'm looking at my holding in Zoom. Wow, nice. Okay, yeah, it looks like I got a 70% return on Zoom. I didn't know that. I'm a diversified investor, so I just buy different shares. I don't buy a bunch of any one company, so I don't always know. But that's a good company. That's a good company to own. So I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just telling you that I own it, and to this point, it's done well. How's it going to do in the future? Nobody knows. Okay. Do you like the FX? Forex. I don't really do a lot of forex trading. So I'm a believer in investing in general. And John Rogers, don't forget, John Rogers, the Chicago billionaire, has actually said this is one of the best times in history to buy stocks. He said in the last 30 years, this is one of 3 times where he said that you'll never find stocks cheaper than you do now. But even the word cheaper is a relative term. In fact, there's a whole philosophy behind how to even view an investment that I'm not going to go into today because I'll be talking to you guys for another 45 minutes. But it was something I literally figured out a couple of days ago, and I want to actually break that down and do a lecture on that pretty soon, because I think it's like a way of looking at investing that you're not really going to find in a textbook, but I think it's real. But I'll break that down to you later, so we'll talk about that later. All right, guys, so have a good day. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe, theblackfinancialchannel.com. Also, if you want to know which stocks I'm picking, my whole portfolio, I reveal it to my students in the Black Stock Market Program. You can try the first 30 days for $1 at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. So feel free to go check it out. The first 30 days is $1, and there's a 100% money back guarantee for the first 30 days if you want your dollar back. But you won't want your dollar back because everybody loves the program. So take care, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boy's TV.